All right, so here we go. Yes, Diablo 4 just got some brand new updates to bosses, dungeons, PvP, and more. But what is the deal? Seems like some of these changes are extremely vague, but why? Let's talk about it. Plus, the Ultimate Nightmare Dungeon tier list, and why are solo players being so punished in this game when it comes to XP gains? Also, someone discovered a huge Diablo 3 Easter egg in Diablo 4. This is really cool. And yes, the Ashava world boss can actually drop this. Take a look at that. Now, let's go straight to the official updates right here because, yeah, we got a brand new patch update. Check it out right here. It goes on to say this. Hotfix 8, June 11th, 2023. So, yeah, this was basically done during the evening on June 11th. So, it says this. Bosses. Fix an issue where the creator in the capstone dungeon would disappear with one of its abilities. Also, they fix an issue with the level 100 pinnacle encounter that would not progress properly. And they address an issue where the capstone boss would not be able to target the player during some encounters. So yeah, that should make it even tougher, I guess. Now, for PvP, they address an issue where PvP damage adjustments would improperly stack with other damage reduction, leading to incorrect expectations against other players. Now, for dungeons, this is interesting. It says they further adjust the elite monster rates in dungeons. I'm going to actually talk about that because that is so incredibly vague. I don't even know exactly what that means. We're always trying to figure out what did they do. Now, it says address an issue where party members who failed a nightmare dungeon would end up in separate instances of a new nightmare dungeon. And they also address an issue where players could receive credit for nightmare dungeons when other party members were completing normal dungeons. So that exploit has been fixed. Now for items, they also address an issue where items would drop in lower world tiers than originally intended. And for miscellaneous, they also did some more stability fixes and improvements. But yes, there's some notable changes there, but also some things where you're like scratching your head wondering, why is this so vague? In fact, we have a question out here on Twitter that says this right here. Check it out. It goes on to say this. Adam, what does that mean for PvP, please? Fights were too fast or too long? And Adam Fletcher responded saying no, means that there were some possibility people got one shot when they shouldn't have. So that's what they mean by some of the PvP adjustments as well in hotfix number 8. Now, this is one of the hot topics out on Reddit. Check it out right here. It goes on to say this. Further adjustments to elite monster rates in dungeons. Yeah, it says, devs, please, stop being so vague with the patch notes. This is not the first time it has happened, and it's really frustrating having to guess what exactly was changed. Here it's probably safe to assume it's some nerf, which brings me to my second point. Spending long time running around looking for mobs or backtracking is not fun. We need higher density, and we need it now. Running isn't fun, and the game is way too grindy to be forcing us to spend so much time running. So it seems like they're trying to, in my personal opinion, I don't know, slow people's progress down. I don't know if they're trying to extend the longevity of this game in an artificial manner, but to me it makes me scratch my head as to why some of these adjustments are being done and why they're kind of nerfing some elements of the game. So yeah, anyway, let's get straight into Twitter, shall we? So it says this right here, still haven't fixed the aspects. Now, if you're wondering what in the world he's referring to this one right here. If you missed the update, it says Edgemaster's aspect, an aspect of Berserk ripping, temporarily disabled. So that actually did happen. A lot of people were bummed, like, hey, why are you doing this to my barbarian so much? Now the response is this one right here from Adam Fletcher, who confirms it's a post-weekend fix. So it didn't make it into this hot fix. We're still very much working on it, but we should be hearing about something regarding this being enabled again. Perhaps, I'm thinking maybe by mid-week, hopefully by Wednesday. That's me speculating, of course, but I'm hoping that they can get that adjusted because I've seen a lot of complaints that people were really dependent on those aspects for their build, and now they're just like, what happened? All right, so yeah, back to Twitter, shall we? So it says this right here from Hoo-Hoo, who says, please, any comments on Twisting Blade's cooldown working as intended or being bugged or looking into it? And they confirm that they are actually looking into some of the issues with Twisting Blade. So if you're running that on Rogue, looks like they're going to be adjusting that and perhaps fixing some stuff around that. So that's good to hear. Also, we have this one right here. It says, I did a world boss at level 70, tier 4, and it gave me a level 80 cache. Is this intended? So the answer is this, yes, though it's something we'll be adjusting a little bit in the future. So rewards related to world bosses at certain levels apparently will be adjusted, especially in World Tier 4, it seems. So look out for adjustments to that and updates. I have you guys covered when that will happen. We got to talk about the Nightmare Dungeon tier list. So check this out right here. It says Nightmare Dungeon tier list solo play. So this is specifically for solo play as well. And we'll talk about more issues with solo play here in just a moment. Now it says Nightmare tier list, or Nightmare Dungeon tier list, I should say. I love the font, by the way, on point. Nicely done. Look at this. This is clean. I love the look of this. Anyway, we have your S rank, your A, B, C, and DF, which is going to be the worst. You have Lost Archives in there, the Slums, Onyx Hold, Conclave, so on and so forth. And we get to C, you have Demon's Wake, Prison of Cauldron, and then Pharaoh's Den, and so on and so forth. And then ultimately we get up here to Champion's Demise. So these are some of the best dungeons you could run, Nightmare dungeons you could run on solo. And there is an explanation as to how he came across this, of course. So we got to read up on that to make it make sense. So it says, hey all, a few friends and I have been running hundreds of Nightmare dungeons. And we put together a list of what we consider to be the best and worst dungeons available for Nightmare dungeon farming. There are some caveats here. First, we evaluated this based entirely on solo play. People who play in groups may view these maps slightly different. Second, we evaluated maps primarily with density of the map, then the map layout, of course, that is how straightforward it was or easy to navigate, and then objectives, kill all enemies or kill constructs, eyes, idols, etc. were typically better to run than objectives like free 7 prisoners. FYI, here, some people don't seem to understand kill all enemies. If you leave stragglers behind, they will get sucked forward into another path. We reproduce this time and time again, with it only bugging out once across several dozen maps. Now, presence of an intermission. This is that single square room between sections where you have to do things like survive or kill all enemies. We generally rated this harshly because these sections drop no loot and give no experience. Now, mob types. In general, we found maps with penitent spiders and spider host zombies had great density. Meanwhile, we rated maps that had ghosts, like the red ones, fairly harshly. Not only was density not great, these mobs were also extremely obnoxious to deal with. Know also that we balanced ability to XP farm with loot drops, meaning that a map needed to be relatively easy to farm with great density and simple layout. Now, if your goal is rushing to completion for glyph progression or glyph progress, some of these rankings will change. Now, Lost Archives, for example, is listed as D tier because of its terrible density. However, it's relatively short map. Someone rushing glyph progress may view this as a benefit. Now, lastly, all maps will run around level 50 Nightmare tier, give or take a few levels. And they also noticed the fact that we left Shifta plus Dark Ravine off the graphic by mistake. Shifta is a C tier and Dark Ravine is an F tier. Zenith and Mallwood will still need more runs on. So they did make some additional notes here as well, which you guys can read on. I'm not going to read on all of this. Look at the detail they put into this. So definitely check out this post for sure. It's going to help you out running those Nightmare dungeons and really min-maxing, of course, your way of actually conquering these dungeons, which is really cool that they did this, especially for solo play. I love that they were able to really tune into solo players, because I'm telling you what, the game is kind of lackluster in that regard when it comes to experience. In fact, we've got a post about it. So check it out. It says this: give solo players love. Solo experience is depressing for those that don't exploit the game. I just want to play random Nightmare dungeons in Helltide without checking whatever is S-rank dungeon for more experience in 4-man parties and still level up in a good progression. Right now, it feels a pain in the butt. Give solo players some love. Don't make it Diablo 3 all over again. I'm worried that they're just not going to listen to this type of feedback. Right now, they're absolutely pushing and wanting to force group play, which, as you guys can tell from my gameplay, I really just enjoy exploring on my own, and I do hope to get more into group play as I go. And I do like these little events that you're seeing right now where you can team up, temporarily with other players, but I like the solitude of going through Sanctuary, and also I love the challenge of it as well. That's just how I roll right now, but I imagine that that will change as I enter World Tier 4. Alright, so next up we have some comments and replies about this. It says, it's insane how much of an advantage group play has, but there's basically little to no way to even find a group in the game itself. Exactly. You know, of course, I'd be willing to check out group play more if I could approach a dungeon entrance and then it like asks me, hey, do you want to join a group right now? You know, I think of a game in particular that does this so well, The Division 2 in particular. You approach a certain area, it's kind of like a raid type event, and you're asked, hey, do you want to do this solo? Or hey, do you want to join a group? And you're given that option right there and then. And yeah, you can just immediately find a group in that manner. I think that Diablo really, really does need this. Diablo 4. All right, so we got to talk about this one really fast. Check it out. It says, discovering Diablo 3's hidden camp in Diablo 4. This was posted by Fearless Mojo. Check out the clip right here. For some reason, I feel like there's a bunch more Easter eggs like this waiting for us in the game. Who will find the cow level first? That's the question. I'm just waiting for someone to be like, I found it. Here's how you do it. And then have some sort of complicated setup where you have to trigger this type of statue and do this over here in this part of the world and then go down south and then boom, portal opens up or something. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be some weird Easter egg. Also, mentioning Easter eggs, check this out right here. It's kind of an Easter egg. You can pet the dog by saying hello. Yeah, by doing the emote hello near a dog, you can actually pet it. So the more you know. Check that out if you want to. Now, a Shava can drop something very cool. Check it out. It says right here, a Shava world boss can drop a horse armor cosmetic. That is so freaking awesome. I'm not jealous at all. So yeah, mentioning world bosses, I feel like they need some sort of feedback related to that to let us know when world bosses are actually rotating. It's just it's so tough to tell, to be blunt. All right, now it's time to get into your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. All right, yeah, my most recent video was this one right here. This is big. New capstone dungeon, world tier 5 leak. Big enchanting tips. Check it out. Those tips are invaluable. And also, yeah, the world tier 5 leak sure does sound intriguing if it pans out to be true. Of course, that is a leak. Remember, take that stuff with a grain of salt, but it seems to be pretty reputable. Snorlax Chilling says this. Ever since I discovered that the kill all monsters objective will force spawn the single minions missed onto you at the end, I don't mind this as much. Yeah, as long as you know how to handle the stragglers, you're good to go. Doxis says, I know I personally think that certain characters being able to roll certain stats is better in the long run because it makes the pool of stats you can roll from smaller and more predictable. While it might be slightly inconvenient to roll on different characters, it's much better for us who min-max. Yeah, that does actually make a lot of sense when you word it like that. Yeah, totally agree. Now, JDM Stav says this. The Butcher is definitely real. Me and my friend ran into him in two Nightmare Dungeons, in a row today. Maybe your meat isn't fresh enough. Oh, man. What the hell? What is wrong with you? And we have this one right here. Adam Mar says, yep, I got him twice last night, and at tier 4 he regenerating barrier shield. And then we have Yoshimatsu who says, I saw him once in open beta and 4 times so far in live. Him showing up changes everything every time. Mixed experiences of running, getting slayed, and slaying him. And then we have Boo Bats who says, never seen him. Also doing Nightmare at the moment. Yeah, so there's some people that aren't even running into him at all. But anyway, you guys do know how to make me laugh. Let me tell you what. All right, Martin Lund says this right here. The Butcher is awesome. I got him 3 times. First time I had to run and leave the dungeon. Second time I beat him barely. And the third time was a pretty comfy win. Either way, I love the Butcher mechanic. So much fun, and it also makes me think about defense abilities as I level up, just in case he wants to go a 4th time. Yeah, bring it. He is ready to go, you know. If you've beat him already, you're good to go, and you're ready for him again. Now, I personally can't wait to see what they do with the other Butcher style mechanics they hope to add post-launch. They do plan to do more random encounters. Now, doesn't mean you're going to have like more characters that are going to try to kill you and chase you down. It could be a different type of mechanic. But yeah, I'm very excited for these random encounters. I do want more of them, as long as it's not like too much, because the rarity of it is cool, I will say that. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, for your comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smack that like button for me. I do appreciate the likes. But yeah, look out for more Diablo 4 news and updates and open world gaming goodness. I have you guys covered, and I will see you all next time. Take care.